Hey guys, this is part 2 for math for paper 4H from May 2008. So let's pick up where we left off. Alright, so we left off at question 10, and question 10 is a diagram of a circle with a triangle in it, and basically this line is coming all the way from O, and there's a chord over here, AB, and basically this line from O is coming and intersecting this chord and forming a perpendicular angle over here. So they're asking you to find in 10A, to find the length of AN, being this length, right? So now, the fact that this line is coming straight through from the center and cutting the chord and forming a 90 degree, that tells us that it's a perpendicular bisector of the chord. So basically what a perpendicular bisector is a line that cuts another line and basically forms a perpendicular angle, and also it splits this line into two equal parts. So that means it splits it into these two equal parts, AN and also NB. And so, since it's two equal parts, that means that the value of AN is nothing but 9.6 divided by 2, which is 4.8 centimeters. Alright, so now 10B, you're being asked to calculate the length of ON, which is this length right here. So basically you have this length 5, you have the length AN 4.8, and it's a right angle triangle over here if you look, right? So all you got to do is find this length. Now I'm hoping you remember the Pythagorean theorem, Pythagoras' theorem, which is nothing but hypotenuse squared is equal to a squared plus b squared, meaning the squares of the other sides added together. And basically this only applies for right angle triangles. So in this case the hypotenuse is 5 squared is equal to 4.8 squared, the other side, and we'll call ON, we'll call it b in this case, plus b squared. Okay, so b squared is nothing but 5 squared minus 4.8 squared, and so I'll continue up here. So b squared is equal to 1.96. Now to find b, all you got to do is square root both sides. So you'll get b is equal to square root of 1.96, which is 1.4 centimeters. Okay, so question 11. Basically this guy Joshi takes 2 out of these numbers, and Marie says that when you round Joshi's 2 numbers to one decimal place, they are equal, and when you round them to and this other guy says that when you round them to 3 significant figures, they are not equal. And the question is saying that both of these statements are correct. So you have to figure out Joshi's 2 numbers. So how I'm going to do this is basically I'm going to write each of the numbers in one decimal place and 3 significant figures. So you probably know how to do this. This forms 123.4, that's one decimal place. And in 3 significant figures it's 123. And I'm just going to continue and do the rest of them. Alright, so I've written all of them down. One decimal place is in red, and 3 significant figures is in green. So all you got to do is figure out when the 2 numbers where one decimal place are equal and their 3 significant figures aren't. So if you look at them, it's basically these 2 numbers over here, which correspond to these 2 numbers right here. So basically if you look, their one decimal places are the same, but their 3 significant figures aren't. So that means that your two of Joshi's numbers are 123.47 and 123.53. Okay, so question 12, we are given 2 similar triangles, and similar triangles are triangles with the same angle, and so they're similar. And basically, but their sides are not the same exactly, okay? So basically, they're saying that AB corresponds to PQ and BC corresponds to QR. So that means that since they're similar triangles, the last side should really correspond to that side. So that means AC should correspond to PR. So now that we have that settled, they're asking us in 12A to find the angle X. Now first of all, you got to look at the angle X. It's right here, right? It could either be 20, it could either be 63. Now we got to figure out which one it is. Now angle X is where AB and basically the blue line and the blue side and the red side meet. So where is that on this diagram? It's actually this angle. So where the blue side and the red side meet. So that means that x is equal to this angle, 63 degrees. Alright, so 12b is asking you to find a value of y. Now since they are similar triangles and have similar angles, the same angles, sorry, we can compare their lengths. We can compare corresponding lengths. So basically what we need to do is the ratio of their lengths can be compared, meaning they're equal. So basically if I do larger triangle to a smaller triangle ratio, I can compare two lengths. So let's say the two lengths I have are 8 and 5. So I'll compare these two lengths. So I'll say 8 is to 5. And then I can say the ratio of this length is equal to the ratio of this length, which is actually what I want to find. So is to 4 as 4 is to y. So that if I put this in algebraic form, the ratio of this length, the ratio of the green length is equal to the ratio of the red length. So then all I need to do is solve for y, and I will find my answer. So basically, if I multiply both sides by y and also by 5, so multiply by y, multiply by 5, I'm going to get 8y is equal to 4 times 5. And then if I divide both sides by 8, I'm going to get y is equal to 4 times 5 over 8. And so y is equal to 2.5 centimeters. Basically, all you got to do is compare the ratio of lengths you know of both triangles, and then add the unknown length, and you can figure it out. Alright, so question 12c, we're being asked to find z. So all we got to do is, we can say that this ratio between the green sides is equal to the ratio between the blue sides, which is this and this. So 8, let me find a suitable color. 8 is to 5. So that ratio, again, I'm going with larger to smaller triangle. So 8 is to 5 is equal to, what's the other one? Sorry. Z is to 6. So that means 8 over 5 is equal to Z over 6. Okay? Now all I got to do is solve for Z, and then I'll find my length. So just multiply both sides by 6, and you'll get Z is equal to 8 over 5 times 6. And so Z is equal to 9.6 centimeters. Okay, well, for 13, they say that each time Astrid takes a shot at goal, the probability that she will score is 1 over 3. So the probability that she'll score a goal is 1 over 3. And they say that she takes 2 shots. So first of all, what we need to figure out is the probability of her not scoring a goal. Now, from our knowledge of probability, we should know that all probability is a fraction, and it always adds up to 1, all of the probabilities. So meaning, the probability that she won't score a goal is 1 minus 1 over 3. Which is nothing but 2 over 3. So that means that you just got to fill in 2 over 3 next to the no goal part. Now for her second shot, let's say we follow this side, and first shot she scores a goal. Okay, good job. Then second shot, let's say she has another chance for a shot. Now she's going to take her second shot. She can either score again or she can miss, right? Because she's going to score or miss. There's again 2 chances. So all you got to do is say goal or no goal. You got to draw 2 more branches, and you got to write their probabilities down. The probabilities will stay the same, because how can they change, you know? And then again, let's say if she goes first shot, she doesn't score a goal, bad luck. And let's say she has another chance of scoring a goal for a second shot. So she takes her second shot. She can either score a goal again, or she can miss. So goal or no goal. And again, the probabilities, you got to write them down, and there's your completed probability tree diagram. Okay, so next question, 13b. They're asking you to calculate the probability that Astrid scores at least 1 goal. Now, at least is a key word, because at least 1 goal means that she scores, out of the 2 shots, she can either score 1 or more goals. That's what it means. So basically, what are the two possibilities of that? On her first shot, she could either score no goal and then score a goal. So she scores one goal in the two shots, so she scored at least one goal. Then either on her first shot she could also get a goal, and on the second shot she could get a no goal. This is another thing that could happen. Or she could score two goals. So she scored at least one goal. At least, remember, it can be one or above. So she scored two goals. So that's fine. So now all you got to do is calculate the probabilities of each happening. So the probability of her scoring no goal then goal is nothing but the probability of her not scoring a goal times the probability of her scoring a goal. And it's the same for the other one. The probability of this is nothing but the probability of her scoring a goal times the probability of her not scoring a goal. And the last one is nothing but the probability of her scoring a goal in the first shot times the probability of her scoring a goal in the second shot. So now, this all simplifies to 2 over 9, this simplifies to 2 over 9, and this simplifies to 4 over 9. Now all you got to do is add all of these probabilities together to get the total probability. Oh, sorry, again, I've made one of those stupid, silly errors which I always talk about. The probability of her scoring a goal is actually 1 over 3, making this 1 over 9. I made a mistake there, sorry. Yeah, so then all you got to do is add these probabilities together to get a total probability. So since they have the same denominator, you can just add the numerators. So it becomes 2 plus 2 plus 1, which is 5 over 9. As the probability which she'll score at least one goal, meaning one or more. Alright, so for 14, you're given a line L passes through points 0, 1, and 4, 3. You're given a drawing of the line, and you're being asked to find the gradient of it. Now, what is gradient? Gradient is nothing but, the symbol is m, and it's nothing but vertical difference of the line divided by horizontal difference. So all you got to do is you have 2 points on the line, 4, 3 and 0, 1. So the vertical difference is nothing but the second y value minus the first y value over the second x value minus the first x value. So it's nothing but, the vertical difference is nothing but 3 minus 1, because the increase in the vertical is 2, right? So, and the horizontal difference is nothing but 4 minus 0, because the change in the x-axis is nothing but 4. So it means that this simplifies to 2 over 4, and so the gradient is nothing but a half, or 0.5. Okay, so now you're being asked to find the equation of a line. So the equation of any line is equal to, y is equal to mx plus c, where m is the gradient, and c is the y-intercept, basically where it hits the y-axis. Okay, so if you look at this this question, we have the gradient as half. Now all we need to do is find c, which is the y-intercept, and it hits the y-axis right there at 1. So all we got to do is fill in the numbers. So c is equal to 1 and m is equal to half. So that means that y is equal to half x plus 1, and that is your equation. Alright, so 14b, they've drawn the line again, and basically they're asking you for the 3 inequalities that define this region here. Alright, so all you got to do is, first of all, figure out the lines which are responsible for this. One of it is the line L, which we found out the equation for, which is y is equal to half x plus 1. Sorry, 1. Then this line over here is nothing but, it's a straight line, so it's x equal to 4. And this line over here is just nothing but y is equal to negative 1. Now, since it's an inequality, we got to figure out how to make this shaded region, this red part which I've drawn, included in this, included basically. So first of all, we'll talk about this curve over here, this line over here, y is equal to 1. So what we want is the part, we don't want anything over here. So we don't want anything below y is equal to 1. We want everything above y is equal to 1. So that means that we want y greater than or equal to negative 1. And we want it equal to negative 1 because of the solid line of y is equal to 1. That's why. If it was only y is greater than 1, it would be a negative 1, it would just be a dotted line. But since it's a solid line, we want y greater than or equal to negative 1. Now let's look at this line over here, x is equal to 4. Okay? We don't want anything on the right side of x equals 4, meaning we don't want anything greater than 4. So we want x less than or equal to 4, because we want all of this part, right? Now, let's finally look at the most tricky part, which is this line. Now, anything above a line is y greater than whatever the equation is. Anything below the line is y less than whatever the equation is. So in this case, we don't want anything above the line, and we want everything below the line, right? So that means we want everything below. If we want everything below the line, we want y less than or equal to half x plus 1, and it's also less than or equal to because of the solid line. And so basically what we're doing is then we're just like reducing the part which we want to only this part. Alright, so question 15. They've drawn this triangle and they're asking you to calculate the length of AC. We'll call AC x. Okay? So first of all, to solve this question, you need to know the cosine rule, which I've drawn on the right over here. So the cosine rule is nothing but a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine of a. Now a squared is the side opposite to the angle, and b and c are the other two sides basically. So in this case, we need to find x, right? So we have the angle opposite to x, which is 80. All we got to do is substitute it into this equation. So let's write out the full equation first of all. A squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine of a. Now in this case, a is our x, right? Because that's the angle opposite, because that's the side opposite to the angle. So all we got to do is write x squared is equal to b squared, which is, let's say, 3.1 squared plus 3.9 squared minus 2 times 3.1 times 3.9 cosine of the angle, which is 80. So x squared is equal to, you got to simplify this, 3.1 squared plus 3.9 squared is 24.82 minus 2 times 3.1 times 3.9 is minus 24. One sec. Yeah, 2 times 3.1 times 3.9 is negative 24.18 cosine of 80. Now you got to put this on your calculator. You're going to get x squared is equal to something like 20.6211 blah blah blah. So if we square root both sides, we're going to get x is equal to square root of 20.6211. So x is equal to 4.54, and you have to give it to 3 significant figures. So 4.54 centimeters. Alright, so 16a is basically asking you to factorize this quadratic equation. Now we can't factorize it using the simple method we normally use. We have to factorize it using the quadratic formula, which is minus b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Now you might be wondering what a, b, and c are. Well, a is nothing but the coefficient of x squared, which is in this case 1. b is nothing but this number over here, which is negative 5. And c is nothing but positive 3. So all you got to do is substitute it into this equation, and you'll find your two values of x. So x is equal to minus b, which is minus 5, plus or minus square root of minus 5 squared minus 4 times 1 times c, which is 3, over 2 times a, which is 1, so 2. So then if we simplify this, this becomes x is equal to 5 plus or minus negative 5 squared is 25, negative 4 times 1 times 3 is negative 12 over 2. And that gets simplified to 5 plus or minus square root of 13 over 2. Alright, so now we have 5 plus or minus square root of 13 over 2. Now we have two possibilities for this, which can be 5 plus square root 13 over 2 or 5 minus square root 13 over 2. All you got to do is put this on your calculator and you're going to get two answers of 4.30, and this is correct to three significant figures, and 0.697, and again this is correct to three significant figures. Alright, so 16b, we're being asked to solve the inequality y squared is less than 9. So first of all, we can treat inequalities like equal signs. So let's make y squared equal to 9 and we'll solve this equation. So if we square root both sides, y could either be equal to plus 3 or minus 3. And the reason for this is minus 3 times minus 3 is 9, and plus 3 times plus 3 is 9 also. So it could either be minus 3 or plus 3. So now if we did this, let's say we took negative 9 to the other side. So we subtracted 9 on both sides. We would get y squared minus 9 is equal to 0. So basically that means that the two roots of this quadratic equation is plus 3. So let's draw it. It's plus 3 and minus 3. So let's say that's the x-axis. So the two roots are plus 3 and minus 3. And the curve is a positive y squared, meaning it has a, when you have a positive, you have a positive attitude, and when it's a negative, you have a negative attitude, so sad face. When it's a positive, you have a smiley face. When it's a negative, you have a sad face. So your quadratic equation would look like this, right? And also it would hit the y-axis at minus 9, because minus 9 is the c value. So it would be something like this, right? So now your question is, when is y squared minus 9? So this is y squared minus 9. When is it less than 0? And that's what you have to look at the graph for. When is this whole curve below 0? Basically, when is it below the x-axis? And if you look at it, it should be for this section of the graph, right? So that means that when y is greater than 3, oh sorry, I'm a stupid guy because this is negative 3 and this is positive 3. When y is greater than negative 3, if you look at it, when y is greater than negative 3, but less than 3, only then is this whole curve below 0, which is the x-axis. Basically below when y is equal to 0. Just below that. So when it's below the x-axis, the curve is between negative 3 and 3. And so that's your answer to the question. Alright, so we're done with part 2. Please go on to watch part 3 and comment, rate and subscribe and stay tuned. Thanks guys.